Looking for the right answers to hard and sometimes confusing global events? Look no further. SSM's team brings unique perspectives from across the globe. Our in-depth independent reporting is to make you better understand the world as we evolve. In a world where news flies around every minute, you need the ability to relate and connect with what matters and stay up to date. Schengen Story Media News Echoes program is Africans in Diaspora and at Home's leading English news network, one of the most trusted, respected sources for news updates on current affairs as they affect global Africa.
Wow. Yes, we're here again. My God, we knew where John is here on SSM Friday, the 4th of April, 2025. And we are here on our Friday update. Good afternoon, viewers. Good day to you wherever you are. It's beautiful to have you join us on this beautiful day. Yes, what we do on Friday is give our international update. And yes, I hopefully will still expecting my coordinators from different parts of the world. But before they join, we could just run through some beautiful news coming out from Nigeria, coming out from some other parts of the world before we go into the main topic. Yes, there's a beautiful thing I saw yesterday. It's a young man with autism, a young man with autism, but he's he did something real spectacular. The young man you're seeing there is a Nigerian, and he pulled up one of the greatest feats in art, and that is he was able to put different colors, dimension of some artistic patterns, and gave a very beautiful art design there. So that's Kanyeye Chukwu Tabo. Okay. Kanyeye Chukwu Tabo Okeke. He broke the world record for the longest art canvas by an individual, and he's just 15 years. So if you've seen that video, you see all he has done is a stretch of different colors put together, and they said the artwork was spanning for like 12 square meters wide, and it took him 12 weeks to do those designs. 12 weeks. So Kanyeye Chukwu Tabo Okeke have pulled up one of the greatest art performance in history, and he has gone down in the Guinness Book of Record. So the Guinness Book of Record gave him the certification. There has to be that certification of what you've done, a certificate to show that yes, you pulled it up, and it's been accredited by the Guinness Book of Record. So Kanyeye Chukwu is the young man's name, and he has just pulled up one of the greatest art exhibition to happen in the world. There you go. You can see it again. Now, those are spectators watching a 12 weeks design plan and about 12 point something square meter of space. So there you go. I think that's quite impressive. I mean, we have such talent, such dedicated, determined young people in Africa, and these talents shouldn't be wasted. They shouldn't go like that. Exhibiting them, putting them out also matters. So yes, viewers, you are tuned in to Friday SSM, our international update. Yes, while I hope to have my partners join me, we could also still continue with some of the updates. Today, mainly, we're talking about Trump and the tariffs. Trump's tariff, we call it. Trump's government, Trump's administration has come up with tariffs, and these tariffs is cutting across. In fact, all the countries of the world are racing to absorb this new way of doing business with the United States. You know, Trump has just unveiled his own tariff. It looked like it might set out what you call a global trade war, but China says it looks good. You know, it looks good for them. This means business for them. So what we heard is Trump has made it clear that the goal he wants to accomplish through his tenure is to also do a lot with the tariffs, bring manufacturing back to the United States. He said he's trying to bring some unfair trade policies that affect America that's coming from other countries. He's trying to cement that, you know. So a lot of increase in tax revenues, a lot of incentives, crack down on immigration and drug trafficking. These are some of those things that he's also looking at, and we hope it goes well. Anyway, the EU and China have promised also countermeasures on all of this tariff. And before I continue, let me bring in George. George has a lot to talk about the tariff too. George, you're welcome.
Thank you so very much, and viewers from around the world, good morning, good day, wherever you're logging in from. All the greetings from Canada.
All the greetings from Canada, George. Thank you for coming by. George, I was we're talking tariff. We're talking Trump and his you know, his tariffs, his new arrangement to he says a new way of doing business with the United States. So I was giving out some of those plans, the policies. Some countries say it's unfair, but EU and China have said, well, there will be a countermeasures too. Some countries are also saying, well, if Trump is doing this, then they too have to sit up. I don't know. Before we go into some key takeaways, some key issues we'll be addressing, George, tell us how you see in these new tariffs Trump is bringing on to doing business in the world.
Well, I mean, number one is the absolute neglect of diplomatic relationship and the symbiotic relationship that actually helps other countries. One thing about it is that Trump likes to be worshipped, whether we like it or not. Like I said before, anything that concerns him, as long as his name is out there, he doesn't care good or bad or ugly. It doesn't make any difference. So he feels like, you know, he's in control, and that's exactly what he wants to do. So whether it's going to, you know, bringing the tariff right now as it stands, it's not only going to affect other countries, it's going just, you know, bring a complete and absolute chaos on the international business. If you look at what happened yesterday at Dow Jones and all other, you know, stock exchange, you know, around the world, everything was nosing down. Everything was going down. So, but he doesn't care. If, you know, as long as it feels right in his mind, that's what he wants to do. And he goes for it. And he feels like as long as he can be able to muscle people to do whatever they want, you know, they feel like, he feels like this is the way for me to be on top, he will do it. The tariffs are not going to only affect other countries. It's not going to only bring a lot of chaos around the international trading system. It is also going to hurt America. And what he wants to do is he's becoming like North Korea. And that's what his plan is. When the international world will now ignore everything that is happening in the US, believe it, he's already talking about the third term. He wants to be the Putin of Russia. That's what Trump is trying to do. That's his plan. Whether he's going to work in the United States of America or not, you know, we don't know. But so far, all the countries are being affected. Mexico, even with Mexico and Canada, that are trading, the closest trading partners with them. He doesn't care. So now Mexico is saying that they're not going to retaliate. But Canada is saying that we are going to push back. So that's where we stand right now. And then the EU is threatening, China is threatening, and other countries are threatening. And actually, he's going after some of these Asian countries, because they want to he wants to, put a lot of pressure on China. If you look at all the countries, China is the one that is being hit, more, because their own is almost 50% increase in their tariffs. Can't hear you. Can't hear you.
Let me now. I'm trying
Yes,
to
I
bring
can hear you.
in. Yeah, I'm trying to bring in some graphics. George, thank you for that. Yes, viewers, the tariff. But George, listen to what some world leaders are saying. Yes, global financial market is plunging down. There's two more. Trump is escalating trade war. He's knocking out trillions of dollars of the value of the world business line. But some people are saying China, and China most especially, saying, well, this looks good. It looks like something that can go, they can play with, and see who will last when this push come to shove. This is what the Chinese are saying. So also, don't you think, George, there has to be a kind of measure and control and a way of probably checking some of these excesses economically. I think this is what he's doing, because Trump is bringing some real strong, tough economic gurus online to help him look at how this will go. He knows there will be countermeasures, reactions, and all that, but they are taking the bull by the horn, and they want to just systemize, putting some checks, putting some control over economical activities on the global stage. So, yes, you want to say something? Go ahead.
The point is this.
Mm-hmm.
You don't think about a measure
Mm-hmm.
and then implement it without allowing time and space to take its, a little bit of, you can evolve in application of this things. When you bring it like that, look at this as it stands right now. There are so many for instance, with Canada. Most of the car companies in the US are depending on Canada because parts are being built here. We're able to do it at a cheaper rate. We're able to do it at a faster rate. We're able to give it to them the way they want it, so that the car companies can continue to function. Now he's bringing this tariff right now. That will increase the price of automobile in the US, because the tariff that he's bringing is going to increase the cost of goods sold in that place. So prices will be higher, and the time to do this is not now. The world is at a very chaotic situation right after the pandemic and all of this, where the world is still trying to recover economically. So a lot of inflation all over the place. So what he is doing could eventually be good, but the timing is wrong, and the application is too fast. Because when Europe as a whole come together, Asian countries come together, and you don't forget also that the BRICS, they're going to be rejecting US dollar as the measure, eventually, because when all these things are happening, the world is not going to stand still and watch him do whatever he wants to do, how he wants to do it, when he wants to do it. There will be retaliatory measures that will crumble United States of America if care is not taken.
George, let me help you here. But part of this whole plan is to what Trump said. He made it clear his goals are, he wants to accomplish what he wants to accomplish through this tariff hike. He says he's bringing back manufacturing to the United States. So he's actually planning to take that car manufacturing, like you said, Canada does more for United States. He wants to take it away from Canada. That's pure and clear. I mean, no hiding that.
Listen to this.
Okay.
Listen to this. He wants to bring it back to the United States of America.
That's the goal.
But okay, that is the eventual goal. If you wanted to implement that, what you could have done would have been that most of these other companies that you are thinking about bringing back to the United States of America, you would have been building them, planning, when they are about to be, fully functional, to impose the tariff. Right now, on both sides of the aisle, both in Canada and US, almost 500,000 people will lose their jobs. Think about it for a moment. Almost already, a lot of companies, are already laying off a lot of their workers. So what is going to happen eventually is the car manufacturing companies, when these goods are not flowing as they're supposed to, what is going to take place? They will shut down. People will lose their jobs. And when they lose their jobs, what is going to happen? They're already crying. They're already crying. So the people are not going to, and let me tell you what Canada is also doing. They are threatening any company that wants to move out of here to go to establish it in the United States. They're going to go through some tough measures because they want to make it hard for them. So what is happening right now, the immediate effect will be so hard that he might not be able to sustain it. That's the problem. This is exactly what we were talking about last time. Subsidy is gone. What are the lasting effects of subsidy? People are still crying in Nigeria up until today because of lack of planning. If you fail to plan, you're planning to fail.
Yes.
It might sound good. It might sound good at the beginning, but let's think about families and generations that have been working on these car companies. And what is going to happen in the company also is when the prices of cars are so expensive, people cannot afford it because the tariff on both sides will increase the price of vehicles and other goods that are being manufactured.
That's why, George. What we're doing is looking at both sides too. So this is why some market surveyors, some experts are saying all of this might plunge America. There's this heightened fear of United States going into recession. So like what you're saying, there might be a recession if it is not guided well. If Trump doesn't really do the necessary things in this build up to the tariffs and everything. So yes, there's fear for recession. There's fear for a lot of things. A breakdown of the financial institution that the world has created together. And but I said, China somehow likes this. I think it's an opportunity for BRICS to also make some real hard comeback and increase their market price, increase their everything, their production level, increase everything they need to increase financially. So, but Trump, like I said earlier, probably have studied all of these disadvantage.
What you don't understand is his modus operandi. His modus operandi is not the type of individual who will go and take a time to study, to see these things. He throws it out there. When he throws it out there, and then all of a sudden, all the sycophants will say, good job, very good. We'll find a way to make it happen. Trump is not the studying type or somebody who is going to analyze the whole entire situation and see the pros and the cons. How is it going to affect our people? Look at what's happening in Dow Jones. He will tell you, don't pay attention to it. Why? No, you don't pay attention to Dow Jones. Don't pay attention to this. But people are losing trillions of dollars already as it is on both sides all around the world. So that's exactly what you are saying. The way to operate efficiently is plan ahead. When you plan ahead, you will begin to institute it slowly in order to bring companies back to the United States of America. When you do it like a boom bang theory, like he's doing right now,
boom bang,
there's going to be a lash back from the United States. Watch and see what's going to happen. When the pockets of people begin to, diminish to the point of, a chaotic situation, people will rise. And let me tell you something else. It's already beginning. Because as it stands right now, the Democrats are about to take over on both houses if care is not taken. And when that happens, listen to this, when that actually takes place, he likes it. Because what he wants to do is he will institute a martial law in the United States of America. He wants to go for the third term, and he's going to try to do it. Watch.
Well, the third term thing, the way he plans to do it is not the martial law way. There's a conspiracy way. The people have seen it coming, but let's see if it works. It is to have his vice become president next election, and somehow he will now step down, just like Putin did. The way Putin did with Medvedev, the other man. That's how they've speculated it might happen. So anyway, George, yes, you're saying it, but you see, in every situation, we look at both pros and the cons. The fact that he said he's bringing back manufacturing back to America, he's bringing all that America has lost to some of these countries as a result of the poor tariff and the bad management economically. It's a thing to, his agenda is America first, like he says, So all he's thinking is not, he doesn't even care what happens to the other country. All he's thinking now is how America can get working again. So, and he's succeeding. If Apple, some of these big companies, big tech companies are coming back, some of them are also putting down a shorty fund, big amount of money. So I think something is brewing, Let's not look at it in all the negative way. And
you gotta understand, why do you outsource? Number one, when you do, if you are a business student, why do you outsource? You outsource simply because if you can get a cheaper labor somewhere. They lost a lot of companies to China simply because of what? And to India because of cheap labor that will eventually increase profit, increase efficiency, and also lower the cost of production. You're bringing companies back to America. If Apple comes back to America today, the cost of their goods sold will increase dramatically because the wages that are being paid in the US is about 15 to 20 times more than what they will get from China or India. Think about it. So eventually, cost of goods will rise so much, people cannot afford a lot of things. The reason why people are sourced is simply because I can do it cheaper somewhere else. It can help me to make more profit, and then I can sell my goods cheaper and compete efficiently and effectively. That's something we are forgetting.
George, it's good. You see, it's good we're talking like this, and I really want to applaud you for this comment you just made now. Yes, very, very true, very correct. But yes, there are both ends to everything. Take note also, the outsourcing also brings in inferior goods and services because you are doing things so cheap. A lot of time, those goods become substandard. We're seeing that in Europe, for example. Europeans have outsourced to Malaysia, some of these Asian countries to do their clothing, to do some of these accessories they handle well before. But what we see now is not as quality. It doesn't have that quality value like it used to have when it was done by the very people that initiated that had that business line. So outsourcing is okay. Yeah, make it available to the large number of consumers, but outsourcing could bring about downgrade of the quality of that product.
Think
Downgrade of,
about this. Think about this for a moment. Let's
okay.
take Apple for example.
Mm-hmm.
Apple maintains its quality, whether they're
Yeah.
building it in Malaysia, whether they're building it in China, whether they're building it elsewhere else, because what they know is that when the goods come out, they have to compete in durability. They have to compete in the good and in the prices of the goods. So now a company can go anywhere and manufacture as long as they maintain the quality. If you go to China today and go to McDonald's, the quality is still maintained. Why? Because they have decided we're not going to lower our standard because we're going to Nigeria or going to Ghana or going to South Korea. They maintain their quality. So it is a choice of the individual who is importing these goods. When you see the cheaper products, if you go to China to trade today, you will see from grade 1 to grade 10. Grade 1 being the cheapest ever, and then grade 10 being the highest. So you have to choose. A lot of people will go there. They choose to buy the lower quality because they're exporting it to Nigeria, or they're exporting it to all these African countries who don't care, who wants to belong, and they can't afford the grade, the grade 10. Therefore, they buy grade 1. So that's it. China produces every grade, but it depends on the buyer who wants to, where you are exporting it to. Yes, you can get the good grades from China. Look at Apple. Apple is being manufactured in China. Think about it for a moment.
All right, George. So viewers, this is it. George is putting it straight out. George, good one. Viewers, you are tuning into our Friday edition of SSM, the international update. Yes, what we do here is bring news from every corner and be able to relate it, connect with what matters, and put it out well so you can have a good view of what's going on around the world. And George is doing just that. So we're talking the tariff, Trump and his tariffs. And yes, a lot of issues will be going out with those tariffs. But the man is doing his thing, George. The man is he's not listening to anything. He's doing his thing. So viewers, let's come back. Let's come back, George. More things to discuss.
Okay.
Looking for the right answers to hard and sometimes confusing global events? Look no further. SSM's team brings unique perspectives from across the globe. Our in-depth independent reporting is to make you better understand the world as we evolve. In a world where news flies around every minute, you need the ability to relate and connect with what matters and stay up to date. Schengen Story Media News Echoes program is Africans in Diaspora and at Home's leading English news network, one of the most trusted, respected sources for news updates on current affairs as they affect global Africa.
A year ago, I wrote a book titled The Final Solution, and I was trying to say to the rest of the world that there are challenges ahead. Now, a prophecy did come, and that prophecy is coming to pass. But I'm telling you, the final solution has been found many years ago in the Bible, because the Bible simply says righteousness exalts a nation and sin is a reproach to the people. So I want you to know that we can get solutions to problems in Ukraine, in Russia, in Nigeria, indeed all parts of the world. We need that solution, and the solution is straightforward. Please get a copy of my book. It's the Final Solution by Bishop Schengen Johnson, and you can find it in Kindle, in Amazon. Just type Bishop Schengen Johnson, The Final Solution. It will come. It's very, very small book you can read within 2 hours, but it contains the final solution. Do get a copy. Not getting it is doing disservice to humanity. Don't forget the final solution.
Hi there, I'm Mary Keurig, and I am a businesswoman in the United States, but I'm also the Global Content Vice President for the Sub-Saharan Open University in Nigeria. I could not be prouder to work with Dr. Osita Anamika and his team on helping to create not just entrepreneurs and skill-based talent that will get out into the workforce and make a living for themselves, but also young leaders. And to that end, with this integrity-rich university environment that's accredited now, and it's just an amazing opportunity for anyone there of any age to jump on board and learn, we want to let you know about a new offering that we have. We have a global governance and diplomacy course now provided by a whole team of people that crosses several countries to put together these resources and lots of great information for those of you who might be on the path toward public service and diplomatic service, NGO leadership, that sort of thing. We hope that you will walk through this open door and enjoy.
Yes, viewers, you are tuned back in. We're here, George and myself, we're here on our SSM Friday International Update. George, the tariff matter will take us all day. So let's put it aside a little and talk some other things. One other thing, it's still on Trump. Trump wants to extend the American territory. I know he even mentioned your place, George. He called your place, but one place that is more on their focus is the Greenland. Now, what happened yesterday is the Greenland Prime Minister, the Danish Prime Minister, yesterday made a press statement, and she said that the Greenland is not for sale. Rather, what Danish people want, because the Danish government also have they have an autonomy on the Greenland territory. So he said what they want to do with America is for America to join in the defense together, work together in the security of that Arctic, that part of the world, and not for America to, that nobody is annexing the country. There's no argument about that, she said. She said it's only for America and Denmark to work together to have world order, build security things together across that region. George, this man wants to stretch all the way. I know he called your country too. What do you say about America annexing? America wants to annex the world, wants to take over the territory.
When you think about the countries that or the leaders that Trump admires, in his mind, these are strong men, and he admires them so much. You're talking about China, they're after Taiwan. You're talking about Russia, they're after Ukraine. You're talking about North Korea, they're after South Korea. So these are the men that he admires because he loves the dictatorship type of authoritarian type of government. So that is the reason when immediately he came in, he started, threatening Canada to be the 51st state, which will never be. He started threatening for the Greenland, to occupy Greenland. He started trying to move away, the people from Hamas, move away people from Gaza Strip to, turn it into something else. So this is exactly what you are seeing. It is a pattern. Whether it's going to work or not is another issue. The Danish Prime Minister, Mette Frederiksen, said yesterday that it's not happening. You can't just go and hijack and take over a sovereign country because you want to. It doesn't happen. If not, Taiwan would have become part of China long time ago. 3 years and still going with Ukraine, with Russia. It's not that easy, but you can flex your muscles all you want to, but when it comes to doing it, is it possible? For example, talking about Canada is one of the Commonwealth countries. You have to deal with UK before you even start thinking. But these are things it's all possible in the mind, but in application, in practicality, it is not that easy. It's not that easy. So you can try to muscle yourself through economic sabotage. Is it going to work? Because the world is at once America is closing their doors, you will now begin to see what is going to happen, because the world will now begin to collaborate, and then they'll begin to, develop new business partnership with each other. And that's exactly what is happening right now. Canada is now, most of the things we are manufacturing, we are planning on shipping it to Europe. We are developing some new partnership with Europe rather than taking it down to America. And that's what they are doing. And Macron, who is the current Prime Minister of Canada right now, I mean, he is a genius when it comes to this thing. Yeah, because remember, he turned the economy of Canada right side up during his term. UK looked at it and said, wow, this man did so good. Come and help us. He went there, turned the economy of UK right side up. Now it is his turn here in Canada. If he wins this election, he will deal with Trump in such a subtle way that Trump will be so surprised how Canada will get out of this particular economic, chaos very quickly and very swiftly.
Okay. Yeah. So, but one thing Trump is not looking at, viewers, you can see the map there. That's a map of the United States, and some of the territories Trump is assuming to want to annex. That's Canada on the blue side. The green side has the Arctic, the Greenland on the other side. So one thing he's not looking at is that territories cannot just be conquered like that. You don't just come and say, you have to put to work. You have to do something if you have to do that, But even more recently, people are not acquiring new territories. Rather, the one you have, you make sure it's running, it's well grounded, it's well structured. So, but one thing he's not looking at is that this, like the Arctic, for example, Denmark has autonomy over that country, and the Danish people have been doing a lot to that Greenland, that space. So it's not something you just wake up overnight and say, now we will come in to annex and take over, because these people have spent millions, billions through the years in everything, both social amenities, both everything in every wise. So you can't just come and say, this is now where we're taking over. So I don't know how that will work, but the Greenland Prime Minister, like you said, the Danish Prime Minister, like you said, made the speech yesterday and said rather they want to have more collaborations with America in building up the security in that place, strengthening security and doing some other thing, but not to annex the country, not to take over the country.
Another thing that you have to look at also is what he's doing is good to a point whereby many countries now will collaborate rather than where they were originally depending on the United States of America for security and for protection. They're now coming together to sign a new alliance with each other whereby they become allies to one another. If another country comes to fight you, they will join. UN is still there, but these are the things that are happening whereby eventually, if care is not taken, the influence of America will diminish so much that they will become a non-entity in the international world. Look at what's happening with BRICS, and it is moving rapidly. See, what he's realizing is the kind of muscle that he has, economic and political muscle he has in the US, where everybody's afraid of what he's going to do, how they're going to destroy their political careers. It's not happening around the world. It's not happening around the world. Very soon, he will become a non-entity, just like what he's been in the US when it comes to the presidents. When they gather together, it was only recently during Carter's funeral that he started mingling with others, yet he's an outcast when you really think about it.
You think so, George? That man.
Oh, definitely.
But I mean, they voted for him. Majority of the Americans voted for him.
Well, no, majority did vote for him. Why?
Wow.
Because why? America is still America. America is still America. So, but the
Uh-huh.
American, when they become America to the world, when they stop
Mhm.
being America to the world, their influence will diminish. And that's something you have to understand.
Okay, let's see how that will work. He has 4 years to show that, do that pull up. We don't know how it's going to be, but we're watching. Thank you, George, for that update also from your end, Canada and the new Prime Minister. And yes, I read through his resume. He looks like he has some real good outline he has pulled up in the past. So, but let's see how all of this plays as time goes on. George, let's come to some business talk now. Still with Trump and the business world. Not too far from you there in South America is the Panama Canal. But George, I know you know about the Panama Canal. It's one very super structure that mankind has built. You know, the ability to build a passage, where a water passage where ships can pass, connecting the Pacific Ocean to the Caribbean Ocean. So now that canal, that structure there, has been under a Chinese business company bought it for some time now. But now, when Trump came in, he wants to take over. He wants America to take over that project, that canal again. So, but it's causing some real business discourse with the two countries, China and America. China Prime Minister doesn't want the owner of the business to sell it to America. America actually sold it to one man. He's a Chinese man. So there's a back and forth over that heavy structure there, and we are adding it up to say, will this also cause more action in the economic business world? George, the Panama Canal, connecting two ends of the major sea to themselves, bringing businesses from this side to this side, bringing business from the other end also to the other end. So what do you know about the Panama Canal, George, and the business around it?
Well, I mean, like you have actually explained it very well. It helps a lot to move goods from one part of the world to another, you know. But the question now is, you see, desire is a noble idea. But when you're making desires, you know, the application of it is another issue there. You know, you can look around the world today, say, you know, me and you, I say, well, I want to come to Milan. I want to take over Tom Ford in Milan, you know, because they make good clothes. Oh, that's a desire. But how possible is it to do so? You know, you throw out words out there and let people start thinking, you know, but the feasibility of doing some of these things are very, very difficult, because you're dealing with, okay, number one, you're dealing with China. They've been in control of this particular canal for many years. And I know the kind of economic, what it's doing to their GDP. Yes. So you think that China is going to sit back and allow Trump to go and take Panama Canal? It ain't happening. It's not that easy. No, it's not that easy. So desire is one thing, you know, because many things are possible mentally.
America built that canal. America, and what the history says is many Americans died in the process of construction. They said thousands.
Well, who owns it right now? Who is operating it now? Who has been in charge of it now? Because you can't just come and, you know, yank something out of somebody's hand. What if the owner of this company refuses to sell to US? What are they going to do? Force themselves to go and hijack it? Use soldiers to go and take over? It ain't happening. It's not going to happen. Think about, you know, the world is an orderly place. I know chaos is coming, but there are still some, you know, orders that are controlling the world as it is today after the First and the Second World War. As much as it's want to be disrupted, but the order is still there. And woe unto you when the whole world turn against you. It becomes something else.
Yes, that's true. That's true. Yes, thank you, George. Okay, viewers, that's it. That's the update on that deal by BlackRock, a $23 billion deal by BlackRock, because Trump wants the United States to take over the canal again, but the business is now presently being run by BlackRock, and somehow it's affiliated with the Chinese government, China. So China has said investigation should be delayed, transaction and business all should be still on hold while they look at some other issues surrounding it too. So all of this adds up to international business. We don't know how it will be affecting the ordinary business people too, because somehow it affects people's business. Anyway, let's move on. George, a small one before we begin to wrap it up. Let's talk about something that looks like it's becoming part of humanity now. Yesterday, a Californian man invited all the TV stations to come see him die. He wanted people to come and see him die. Can you imagine that, George? So now we are talking about what you call assisted dying. You know, people helping somebody die. There's this thing they built in Switzerland called the suicide pod. So euthanasia, as they call it, the act of one dying by his own wish, is becoming a norm now among human beings. George, you as a counselor, as a man that counsel, talk with people, advise people and all that, how do you see this? People now choosing to die. You know, they feel the world is not the place to stay again. They want to go.
You see, we are coming to a place in the world today where life is becoming a little more difficult with some people. Suffering a lot is increasing. What people used to tolerate before, they are unable to tolerate anymore, you know, because of what is happening around the world. You know, a lot of people who are not religious per se, they're losing hope. They're feeling hopeless. And some of them are unable to deal with the pain, you know, that is really happening. So, you know, in 2016, Canada, you know, Canada decided to change the laws of euthanasia. And it's called MAID, medical assistant in dying. So in 2016, they did that, yes. But usually there is very limited because you have to be granted the permission to do so. And it's been happening. But around the world today, you know, the two sides of the whole equation is when somebody decides to now go, you see the increase in suicide all over the world, and especially in certain areas. Some are dying not because they want to, but because of hunger. For instance, in certain African countries, in certain other Asian countries, many people are dying. But when it comes to medical assistant in dying, what you're seeing is people, maybe they're suffering from cancer, they are in pain, and they want to just go a little early, rather than them, you know, committing suicide. Yeah, terminal ill people, they don't want to, you know, die anymore. Some people justify that by saying that they're trying to ease the pain for the individuals who are going to be living longer, causing a lot of pain for the family and a lot of money for the family. So that's the justification. But morally, is it correct for somebody to take their life? That's a question that needs to be answered. As much as this is becoming something that is common around the world today, many countries like Denmark, you know, many of these European countries, they are embracing it already. That's a major question that we need to discuss. Is it a moral decision for one to want to end their life early? In the past, they used to hang themselves. Some people used to jump off the bridge. Some
cliff.
people used to jump off off the cliff.
Cliff,
Some people used to jump off the
ledger,
high-rise buildings. Some
ledger,
people will go into their car and drive it until they crash land. So
yes.
these are things that needs to
Sometime
be
in Milan,
discussed.
yeah, sometime in Milan, we had a billionaire that took a helicopter, small flight, and rammed into one of the tallest buildings here in Milan. This was some years ago. And
several years ago, it happened in the United States of America too.
That was
bad.
Yes.
So what we're seeing is this thing is growing rampant, and it's because of hopelessness, and it's because of people not. Why am I living? What is this world all about? Where am I going?
The essence of living has faded off them. George, now look at this. I know you know this. The viewers, what you see there is something called suicide pod. Now that thing is what they have built to assist people. You go inside, you will press your own button, and you begin to die. There's something that will probably seize your breath, or probably pour out chemical into the pod, and you inhale and die. So, but they said there is no excruciating pain. It's just quiet, silent death, and you go off. So this is the new suicide. This is a new gadget for self-suicide. It's now in Switzerland. It's in Germany. Many European countries are now taking it in. Even though the governments, the lawmakers are trying to put a law to stop it, but it's spreading very fast. We have a lot of Americans come to Switzerland to enter this thing and just die, And prior to that time, they will eat their last meal, they will drink a last drink, they will stay in the room, meditate. Then when it's that time, the person walks into the pod. George, this is crazy. This is where the world
is. That's where the world is, and they have 4 different types of euthanasia right now. There was one is called direct active euthanasia. It's a deliberate killing in order to shorten the suffering of another person. The other one is indirect, which is active euthanasia. You have passive euthanasia and assisted suicide. So some of these things, they are growing. They are growing. But I tell you what, to end this particular subject, is hopelessness, is despondency. Many people that have hope of eternal life will hardly take their life, and I will leave it there.
Nice. Thank you, George.
Go figure. Go
figure it out. And also, George, even though it might sound a little bit too, they will say religious, but I think if mankind could understand more of the Creator, the man, the one that has put us here on earth and all that, if we could have some insight into it, then one will not want to die like that. I mean, you want to fulfill your purpose, why you came on this planet, All right, George, let's begin to wrap it up. Before we go, initially I said this before you came in, George. The young man called Kanyeye Chukwu Tabo Okeke, that broke the Guinness World Record for the longest art canvas by an individual, George. We did small thing on that before you came in. I don't know. Have you seen the video?
No. Can you show it to us again?
Yes, that's the young man there, Tabo Okeke. See, this is what he did, George. Look, you see that span of artwork spanning about 12 square meters in space. It's titled "Impossible. Impossibility is a Myth." So it took him 12 weeks to do all of those designs, those things you see there. Only him, was painting using brush,
Wow.
going around the whole stadium, the whole space. And now Guinness Book of Record has certified him. It's certified. A lot of time people will say Guinness Book of Record, I won the record, but the Guinness company, the organization, they probably haven't satisfied that people. You need to go through a certification, you know,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
yes, what you did was extraordinary. So, but
Authentic
okay,
and mhm.
accepted, yes, and a world record thing. Okeke has done that, and we're happy. George, what do you say to Okeke?
Well, congratulations to him at the age of what? How old is he now? 12 years old?
15.
15. Well,
And guess what? He's autistic. Can you imagine?
Now, this is where I'm going to end this. You see, let me tell you something about no. This is very, very important. The world have coined a name for certain
Okay.
type of individuals,
Okay.
and it is a negative connotation.
Okay.
Negative connotation. When they do that, the world start looking at that individual as handicapped. Why people are created differently. Most of the people that we call geniuses today are not normal. They think differently. They act differently. We call them geeks. But they are on a different level.
Okay.
There are so many. I know a family that the daughter was considered to be the same exact thing that you just say, autistic. And because of that, she's always alone drawing and drawing and drawing. So when they came to me and was asking me, oh, well, the government is doing this and the government is doing that because, you know, she's handicapped. And I say, she's not handicapped. And guess what? I encouraged the mother to help her out because she's always sketching clothes. And the mother started helping her out in sketching clothes. Today, that woman owns a very powerful designer company in UK. Why? Because all of a sudden, she began to see that this child is gifted in a different area. And this is exactly what they have been doing. They call them autistic. They call them this. And because the world looks at them as handicaps, all of a sudden, these people, they cannot even bring out what God has given them to help mankind with. So we need to be careful. Yes, I see that. See that.
That's the picture of Okeke with the father and I think the mom and the minister for youth culture and creativity in Nigeria, and also the certification flag
from Guinness Book of Record.
From Guinness Book of Record. So, George, listen, these are some of the topics me and you will be talking. Viewers, listen, it's getting exciting. It's nice to hear George say what he says because we need to pull off the plug on many people's eyes. Some of these human reasoning things people say that are not true, they've used it to hold up a lot of destinies, a lot of people, you know. George, thank you.
If you look at somebody like, somebody like Microsoft, he was not a normal individial. He was not when he started. He was not. Look at Elon Musk. He's not normal. Is it because he was allowed to bring bring his discovery to help mankind? He's not a normal individual, not like me and you. We sometimes they look at us as abnormal, and we look at them as abnormal, and we call them handicapped. And but given the opportunity, they will begin to harness the gifts that are given to them that can help mankind. Look at what this young man created. It started in his mind.
There's another guy too. This is Olukoya. I'm trying to get his name. That's another Nigerian, Tunde Onokoya. He's also in that class, George. He plays chess, and he has taken chess game far beyond the borders, far beyond. Yesterday, he was at the United Nations game opening in New York. That's where he is now. That's that picture you're seeing, where he made an opening speech. So he has taken chess far, far beyond, George. You know one thing he does? He could play chess with like 10, 8, 15 people at the same time and win all of them. Yeah, Tunde. Yeah, that's him.
You
That's
see?
it. That's
And he's from Nigeria.
yes, yeah, Tunde is from somewhere in the southwest of Nigeria. So,
That's
George,
wonderful.
we have to go. George, we have to go. We'll be here on Monday, George, between the lines.
Yes.
But
Between the
I
lines.
thank you. You did it so well. Today, you put out real good info, beautiful insights into the topics. And want to thank you. So let's have a beautiful weekend. Wishing you all the best. You want to say anything?
Well, I just want to wish everybody a wonderful weekend and stay tuned. Don't allow depression to take over your life. Hope in God, because He is really, really, the one that will see you through whatever you are going through in life. There are chaos all over the world today, but don't let your heart be troubled. Stay tuned. Enjoy your weekend. Have a wonderful time and stay blessed and protected.
Thank you, George. Beautiful. Viewers, this is it. We have done it. Friday, the 4th of April, 2025. We've come to do the international update, SSM global update. So till we come again on Monday, have a beautiful weekend. Bye-bye.
Looking for the right answers to hard and sometimes confusing global events? Look no further. SSM's team brings unique perspectives from across the globe. Our in-depth independent reporting is to make you better understand the world as we evolve. In a world where news flies around every minute, you need the ability to relate and connect with what matters and stay up to date. Schengen Story Media News Echoes program is Africans in Diaspora and at Home's leading English news network, one of the most trusted, respected sources for news updates on current affairs as they affect global Africa.